Cheers. Oh my God, I gotta get a coaster. Bad me. Coaster's behind me. Shout out these Super Hooyah Navy Chief Navy Pride coasters, right? And I got a little bit different setup going on today. I paid way too much for these during the season, but I as much as I fucking want to retire and I'm kind of tired of the mess, I support where I can. You know what I'm saying? So those are cool. They're for the studio. That's about as much that's about as much as Hooyah you're gonna get from me here tonight, or many nights. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm working with a little bit of setup. I've had a lot of things planned that I've not done because the other, life. I had a lot of things written down that I wanted to kick off during this season and stuff, but with PCSing on the horizon, and we're going to get into some of that here soon. That'll be our first topic tonight. I just haven't been able to really outfit the studio with the ideas that I had and get into some of the extra streaming, game streaming, just because it's fun to sit back on game and stream. And if someone pops in and watches and says, hey, you suck, you can have a little talk with them about it. But so today I did set up the new 2-camera setup here. All right. And why is this one over here, you're asking? Because I have my dual monitor set up now. And let's get right into the first topic we're talking about tonight. I found a home in Texas, right? And this is what we're going with, everybody. We're going with a, let me make sure this is small enough where you can see it all, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. We decided, me and Nikki, right, that we are going to go with a travel trailer for me to live in. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but that was a decision about 3 weeks ago. I don't know what brought it up or what led us to that solution, but we were sitting at home and we were talking and we're about, we were trying to do the banking stuff to get a house. And, whenever you apply for something like that, it seemed like I got in one morning, the day after I talked to the lady, the bank lady, the mortgage people, I had like 80 missed phone calls for the 3 hours I was not by my phone. And then Nikki had like another 50. And it was like everyone was fucking calling and texting with the auto texts about, do you need a bank loan? Do you call us now? And I was like, holy shit. Now, I'll say, I did not call any of them, did not text them, blocked every number, reported as junk, okay? The initial lady that I reached out to, who said she would give me all my options, I've still not heard from her. Christina, fucking Penny Mac or whatever, you suck, okay? I've still not heard back. I sent her a text. She's like, yep, I'm working on it. Haven't heard shit, so fuck them. Keep paying my mortgage because we can't lose the house, but fuck them. Excuse me. I'm still like congested and shit. It sucks. And now with like snifflies. I gotta keep your ear out for the kids. You guys know it's me and the kids tonight. Nikki's at work. It's Nintendo Fridays. Anything you want on TV, as long as it's kid appropriate, and they know what that is. So if you're joining us, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you're sipping on tonight. I'm back to the pirate ration tonight. I just want to switch it up. Have one of these and call it good tonight. So I was saying, it was like 3 weeks ago, we decided what we're going to live in, what I'm going to live in, is a travel trailer. So boom, into the YouTube sphere of what's a travel trailer look like and what we're going to do. Here it is. This is what we're going with. This is a 2024 Rockwood Mini Light by Forest River, a 2109 S Sierra travel trailer. This is it right here. This is what I'm gonna be in. I really don't know shit about travel trailers. Okay, if we're being real, all right. If you do know shit, hit me up and let me know everything you know, so I can start learning. Okay, been again just YouTubing the shit out of everything. Googling and just trying to. Obviously, I'm not getting this one from Ohio. It's just a site that I found that I could share with y'all. This is the layout here. Okay, you can see it's got like a I guess what they call it's a queen bed, but it's not as long as a queen bed. It should be like longer out to here, like another 6 or 8 inches, right? But I'm good. 74 inches. I'm only 68 inches, so I got 6 inches to spare right there. You know what I'm saying? And it's got like wardrobe you see up here. That's like wardrobe for hanger space. These are just like wooden boxes because there's storage underneath the bed that you access from the outside, from your port and starboard sides, right? This really, I mean, I really reference a lot of this. I was talking to my boy Jesse. What's up, Jesse? Thank you for helping me out and hooking me up with some knowledge, right? Jesse has a couple trailers, and he was really helping me out in understanding things of how to do things. And he's gonna help me out some more when I pick it up and everything. So appreciate that. That's that's really like the real chief shit that you look forward to, that they tell you about, right? Like that's some real shit where he really comes through and like, bro, just like when you go to get it, hit me up. I'll go with you. I'll show you how to hook it up. I'll run you through the things. And like the people I'm buying it from too are also going to do that. But it's always good to have a homie, right? It's always good to have a homie that's a bit smarter than you. So yeah, it comes with a TV. That TV, I'm gonna see if I could unmount it and mount up my gaming monitor that I bought like 3 months ago and have never used. That's another thing I was gonna put in the studio, but it's just like getting ready to PCS and not sure how I was going to PCS myself. I didn't want to break it out of the box, and so it's sitting right over there on the box, in the box, still brand new, fucking never moved. I unloaded it, put it there, it hasn't moved. Excuse me. And then you see it has a full restroom, right? Full, nice little curved bathroom, shower area, the toilet, sink, all that. Has a refrigerator and another little wardrobe. It's like a pantry, or you could hang some clothes up in there. This, I'm really gonna take uniforms. I'm gonna take clothes. I'm gonna take civvies, but this is really to me like a super nice stateroom, right? It's bigger than any stateroom anyone's ever had. Like this is like CO level, right? And it's nice, man. It really is nice. Excuse me. I need to wet my beak. It's 23 feet or like 22 feet and 4 inches, 23 feet, 21, whatever, whichever way you want around. Kitchen has microwave. It has an oven also. So I'm going to be in there baking, right? Baking pizzas every Friday night, and a 3-burner stove. After a while, I started thinking about it. I only need 2-burner stove. Like, when do you ever have 3 pots going at once, really? But I mean, it's there. Man, like as I research through these trailers, it's really hard to get like exactly what you want. You're either getting too much, too little, or sacrificing somewhere, like with anything, right? So, the sofa pops down and it can be made into a bed. And then that table, there's just a little swivel table that like pivots in the middle, and for you just sit there and eat, right? So you can see like some travel trailers have like a full dinette area. This one does not, and I'm okay with that because again, it's just me. Like when we're doing it, and like I said, Nikki and the kids are gonna come out and visit me, but like we said, it's gonna be like 98% all the time me, right? So like I don't really need a full dinette. Excuse me again. So I think this will be plenty to sit back here, eat, watch TV. Hold on. What was that? No, kids are just having fun and chill, you know. So this is also going to be the new home of the Bravo Zulu podcast and YouTube channel, right? So I'm also going through my mind of how I'm going to set up a studio in here. Obviously, it is not going to be as lavish as you see back here, right? It's not going to have the whole backdrop and everything. I'm going to have to I'm telling you, I got this bad little cough thing. I don't feel sick at all, but you can hear it in my voice too. Real congested every morning. But yeah, the home of the podcast. So I got to figure out there's good lighting in it, but I'm gonna have to figure out more lighting. taking the tripods with me. I got to figure out how I'm going to take what's on the desk right now, and put it into here and make it podcast ready. You know what I'm saying? So more to follow on that. I'll be doing a lot of behind the scenes BTS videos on that, right? And bring you along with me as I figure it out. I think a lot of it's just gonna be done here on the couch with the tripods, like just in the open floor area, right? Maybe I'll do like that one chick that I keep looking at the wrong camera. Bobby Pilaf, the chick who did the Drake one and got all these famous. She's an industry plant, is what people call her, an industry plant. I read somewhere like she left her husband and her kids to go pursue this dream of hers, and now, yeah, crazy. It's just what I heard. I don't know. Yep. But maybe I'll do one where I just I just lay in the bed and I talk on the microphone as I'm lounged up. Probably not. I'll probably just do it right here on the sofa. With a nice window there, all these windows open. Has a big 14-foot awning out front. I might do some just straight up I'll be staying on the base at the RV park. It has a nice RV park, really. Maybe I'll just do something outside, kind of like the vlog setup that I had underway, where it's a lot more low key. And then just some standard equipment and numbers and everything. But that's where I'm gonna be. This is what I'm doing, right? That's it right there. 2 propane tanks. I be learning all kinds of shit about RVs the last couple weeks. Got 2 excuse me, 2 propane tanks up here. I think I'm only going to get 1 battery instead of 2. You can buy another battery. It has some solar on there. Some of that stuff, I'm like the solar, I'm not really going to need it. I'm going to be plugged into shore services, right? Receiving shore services. Miscellaneous shore services, man. I got a fucking deck log for this fucking thing. It's crazy. Yeah, I got an Amazon cart full of fucking peripherals that I'm gonna need. And it's adding up. I could tell you that it's adding up quickly. Again, if you have any RV experience, drop it in the comments down below. Shoot me an email. The email's over on the info page. Or also, since we're live tonight, you could call in. It's what's the number? Producer Josh, it is 619. Hold on, let me find it. I lost it. 619-796-6004 is our hotline. I'm telling you, I don't know what is up with my... Yeah, there we go. 619-796-6004 is our hotline tonight. Call in live to the show and let us know what as we get into this. First, so that's travel trailer, right? That's what we're going with. Okay? If you didn't see it, here it is again. Boom. 2024 Rockwood Mini Light by Forest River. That's the setup. That's what we're cruising with. All right, now let's get into the first topic. Rudisill versus McDonough, whichever way you want to say that. If you've been following any news, keeping up with Supreme Court stuff, there was a decision made on a veteran who sued whoever they sued, McDonough, right? And so a lot of people are making a big deal about this. He was suing about a service member who, through separate periods of service, accrue educational benefits under both the Montgomery and post 9/11 GI Bills. May use either one in any order up to blah, 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 48-month aggregate benefits cap. Excuse me. So I get I was just reading through this. I'd heard some about it, not a whole lot. Here's a whole list of what had happened. The judgment was reversed and remanded 7-2 in an opinion by Justice Jackson on April 16, 2024. Justice Kavanaugh filed a concurring opinion in which Justice Barrett joined. Justice Thomas filed a dissenting opinion, which Justice Alito joined. Okay, so pretty much, this is what so I read some other stuff on it, right? And what I'm understanding, and from this holding, what they're saying is, a lot of people, and this is what I thought too when I first was when they said that it ruled in his favor, it sounded like what they were saying was that you can use both for us older people, when when you joined, what they promised you was the Montgomery GI Bill, and then later on it turned into, or you had the option to switch and choose the 9/11 GI Bill, which I think makes more sense. But I still paid my $1,200 into the Montgomery, right? So when this first came out, it sounded like, oh shit, you get to use both of them, and there was no other details. It was like headlining, clickbaity, kind of like, yep, you get both of them now. And then as I just read this, and I stopped going into it because it seems like it's pretty clear up front, right? You can use either one if through separate periods of service you accrued both of them. So to me, and again, I'm not going to deep dive into it. If you have, please let me know in the comments, right? But that sounds like you would have to have served a long time ago, like when I did, and you came in and you paid for the Montgomery GI Bill, and then you broke service, got out or something, and then when you came back in, you're automatically filed into the post 9/11, right? And now you've accrued both of them under two different periods of service, because that's what it says, through separate periods of service. So not through, I only have one period of service from 2004 till current. So I don't think I qualify for this. And I would like to see, and I'm sure it's going to take some time, but I'd like to see like DOD and everyone, all the branches, put out exactly who this impacts and how it impacts. I'm sure it's coming and being worked on. But, and then again, though, it says for in any order up to 38 U.S. code, I don't know what that little double S sign means. 3695 A apostrophe S, 48-month aggregate benefits cap. So it sounds like no matter which one you use, in any order you use them, you still only get up to 4 years of college. Now, I don't know, like, I haven't used any of them. I got to read up. I won't be using any of them, right? But, yeah, interesting news enough. Again, if you know more, let me know more. And that's that news there. Now, here's the next one. All right. This guy did not seem like he's the brightest. This guy has some tendencies, folk. Okay. Former USS Howard CEO was fired after racially harassing comments. The shit he says, wow. There's worse out there being said, I'm sure. But what the fuck was this guy thinking? So an investigation into this guy, in February, substantiated allegations that the skipper made several racially harassing comments portraying derogatory stereotypes of African Americans, according to records obtained by Navy Times. Okay. When he was first fired on February 6th, of course, it just said loss of confidence in his ability to perform his duties. Just a few months after, the officer assumed command of the warship in September. So it only took him 4 or 5 months to get fired. Like, this dude was working fast. He must have already had a second job lined up, ready to go. So they got through the FOIA Act, they got the records. The CO could not be reached for comment. So let's run the story. Howard conducted, it's just like the shit. Howard conducted a ballistic missile defense training and certification event on board on December 11th, right? Just a short 3 months after he took command. As the event unfolded, Dennis and the ship's CMC, among others, met in Dennis's cabin and discussed one sailor who had received counseling from Dennis, the investigation said. Okay, so if the CO was giving you counseling, you're probably an officer, right? Okay. Probably. Maybe a chief also. You're definitely got to be khaki. Otherwise, like, the CO is probably just, like, flicking the booger over to CMC or XO and be like, hey, get this taken care of and going down, right? So, I'm sorry. As the conversation wrapped up, the prior enlisted, so Dennis is prior enlisted, cool, all right, whatever, said the counseled sailor's issue was that she walks, quote, around with BWA. It took me a second when I read, I was like, what the fuck is BWA? They can't, like, a BWA. I thought bitch with attitude. I was like, because it said she walks around, so I was like, oh, he calls someone a bitch with attitude? Like, okay, wow, ballsy. Dennis said he meant black woman attitude when those present asked him to clarify the investigation said. So those present was like, CO, what do you mean BWA? Let's make sure we got this acronym right. We haven't heard that. One's not at the beginning of the Navy PQS for counseling, where it has a PQS and it has all the acronyms listed. We'd never seen that one. Could you clarify? And the CO says, oh, what I meant was black woman attitude. Like, he knew he had to have fucked up right then and there. Like, what the fuck are you doing? There's no way that that's ever okay for you to be saying. You shouldn't be thinking it, but motherfucker, we know some old people be thinking it, all right? Especially if they from, certain geographical areas, all right? Know where I'd like to be stationed, okay? And then it remains unclear who Dennis was referring to due to redactions in the publicly released investigation copy. All right. The investigation also shows that Dennis and his spouse hosted a holiday potluck at their home in Yokosuka on December 16th. So, wrap up the underway time, get back in port. Hey, let's have a holiday party. If it's at his house, it's probably the wardroom, okay, where the ship's department heads and their families attended. Yep, ship's department heads. Okay, so you got everyone over there. And during the party, attendees discussed their children and their children's temperament, with one officer describing their eldest son as a gentle soul. All right. This shit is wild. This is a quote from the CO. At this party, I would have thought your sons walk around with a blunt in their mouths, guns on their waist, and a 40 in their hands, Dennis replied, according to the investigation. What in the fuck? This dude, prior enlisted, he got no wardroom etiquette. He's saying what is in it, not on his mind, what's in his heart. This is shit this is in this dude's heart at this point. Okay, that's what I'm gonna drive home here. When we all know, when you with homies, sometimes you make homie jokes. Okay, he's not a homie with none of these people. He's their boss. Okay, if I'm with me and my homies, I'm not making this joke. But there's other insensitive, where you can knock on each other, dig on each other jokes. That's not a knock on or a dig on. That's a straight up racially motivated joke. I use sentence enhancers there, okay? For him, the CO, to tell anyone, any of his department heads or not, this line, what the fuck? This is absolutely wild, okay? So as we move, we're going to continue on. The officer replied that, I know this is hard to believe, but I never qualified for WIC or food stamps, and I'm not as ghetto as you think. So I'm going to take offense to that, because I grew up on WIC and food stamps. Okay, there, officer, and I'm not as ghetto or poor. Well, maybe I was as poor as you think, but ghetto and WIC and food stamps don't necessarily go hand in hand. All right, and I'm not calling you fucking ghetto. I'm calling and I know how he was feeling, because he was pissed off because of what the fucking CO just said. But I'm going to take offense because I grew up on WIC and food stamps. All right. And I didn't grow up ghetto. Okay. So they don't go hand in hand. But he damn right for calling it out and being like, yo, I'm not ghetto. What the fuck you think? Okay. The conversation shifted topics shortly thereafter, according to the investigation. Could you imagine everyone in there on this fucking, everyone, this is a holiday party for Christmas, right? You can't call it a Christmas party at the CO's house, and he's making racially jokes, and someone claps back at him, rightfully so, and then it's just kind of everyone just sitting around the table awkward, what the fuck, oh man, it hadn't. I hope some of those people went on leave and was able to decompress from that, because that is not a situation anyone should want to be in, or any CO should ever put anyone into. All right, let's keep moving. Dennis and other officers who attended the event were interviewed. All confirmed Dennis made the remark, according to the investigation. So everyone was like, yeah, motherfucker said it. He said it. The investigation states he expressed remorse for his comments and had described himself to Howard's officers as a smartass and sarcastic, and told them, you can call me on it if he ever crossed the line. The problem with that is, right, there's one thing for being sarcastic and smartass. I'm sarcastic and smartass. It's another thing to be racist, right? to speak what's in your heart and make inappropriate racial jokes, right? Dennis said he felt comfortable with the officer to engage in banter. That's not banter. Again, that's not banter. Banter is like, damn, like, fucking, I don't know, like, who taught you how to tie a tie? Because it's all crooked or something. That's banter, okay? What he said, again, that's what's in his heart, okay? MB bitch, yeah, MB Mitch 99. What's up, brother? How you doing? Let's move this up here. Let us know there, MB Mitch. If you're at the holiday party with the CO and he told somebody, I would have thought your sons walk around with a blunt in their mouths and guns on their waist and a 40 in their hands, how would you have responded, Mitch? Sorry, I said bit. Them letters mudge up. You read it fast. Let's keep going. Dennis said he felt comfortable to engage in banter, claimed he felt that they had developed a rapport through shared experiences. You've only been on board 3 months. What fucking shared experiences? Some underway time? Like that, again, I'm not defending him. The joke was not a joke. It was racially motivated. I honestly believe that, right? What I'm saying is, you have no shared experiences with them. You've been on board 3 months. You still walking on eggshells. You should still be at the utmost level of professionalism, right? And if you're trying to engage in banter, it should be like a knock-knock joke, okay? Like, this dude's all fucked up. In that attempt to build camaraderie among a wardroom that he was just getting to know. Yeah, exactly. You're just getting to know him. So, what? Oh, hold on. I didn't finish the other sentence. And claimed that he felt they both developed a rapport through shared experience, such as both going to captain's mass as junior sailors. See, you could go to captain's mass as a junior sailor and then be the captain at captain's mass. Look at him go. And now he's relieved of duty. So, yeah, shared experience him. Commander Dennis showed poor judgment in not recognizing that his banter included comments that a reasonable person would consider offensive, the investigation said. Yeah, even me. Dennis also voiced regret that he was unable to resolve the allegations informally or otherwise. Okay, blah, blah. While Commander Dennis told his department heads and officers that he was a smartass and suggested that if I piss you off, you can call me on it, Commander Dennis did not recognize the difficulty of an officer or sailor may have in calling their captain on it. Yeah. Where's the CMC? Is the CMC getting relief? The CMC was in there. What did the CMC do? Just a question. Like, I'm not accusing them of doing wrong. It's legit. What did they do besides ask? Can you clarify the BWA comment? All right, here we go. Mitch 89. I would have put his ass on report, which is what someone did and got his involved. Yes, absolutely. I got this. This is not showing up real good. Sorry. Put it there in the middle. No, absolutely. Again, I agree. I don't act like I'm not agreeing. It would just make that bigger. There we go. Like I said, I think that those comments were from his heart. It's not. Those aren't joking comments. Those are bad. Yeah, and then the investigation also substantiated another allegation that Dennis referred to a department head at one point as a dummy during a replenishment at sea training event. Even so, the investigating officer determined that remark was not racially motivated. You know, the dummy thing, like, man, I can't, like, I've been, people try to get me in trouble for calling. I got called today a bully. Someone called me there, oh, Chief, you're a bully. I was like, why? Because I'm giving this person shit because they were doing public speaking and it wasn't that great. So I was telling them, like, they need to work on it. Like, why is that being a bully? You shouldn't call people dummy, but, like, was it that? I don't know. That one, like, that's just like that's them piling on, and maybe rightfully so. Go for it, right? Good on you. But again, like, I don't know. Some people are dummies. Okay, in the moment they're dummy. Oh, dial in, Mitch. Yeah, dial in. If you want to dial in tonight, don't forget the number is 619-796-6004. That's 619-796-6004. Dial in, and we're gonna. So that's the CO of the USS Howard fired Because I'm guessing he was part racist and he let his fucking true color show. All right, on to the next one. Here's what the Navy do to boast SWO retention. This is a little bit old from January, but goes into the overall. This is like the best one I can find here about the next topic tonight is retention, right? Let me make sure that if he does dial in. Okay, there you go. Sorry. Yep, so if you want to dial in at 619-796-6004, and you will be live on the show with us. So here we go, retention, all right? A couple weeks ago, I did a video on the quote-unquote recruiting crisis, and I said I don't think there's a recruiting crisis. I think the recruiting numbers are down, and rightfully so, because there's more opportunity out there for civilians 18 to 24 coming out of college, coming out of high school. There's more opportunity. They want to do different things. They can see what the military is like through military social media ambassadors or influencers, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Okay, whatever you guys at the PAO office are signing them up for. All right, so cool. Whatever. All right. There's not a. Let's see. Was that it? Did someone try to call me? Sorry. Try it again. Mitch, if that's you trying to dial in, brother, go ahead and do it again, and it should pop up, I think. Oh, here, let's try it. Let's try it. Run that back. Here, I'm calling you back, Mitch. Hello? 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 Oh, hold on. Can you hear me? Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties tonight. That might have been just it got to be him. Check my equipment. Hello? 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 Oh, shit. I hit the wrong one. Sorry, guys, because I'm not using my real number up on here, okay? At the tone. Dun, 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 dun. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to make this work. Hello? Yo. You got me? What? Hold on. Something's wrong here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Well, I got you now. I got you. Look, everyone, I'm a dummy. I had the wrong slider slid up. Okay, we good now. Brother Mitch, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Oh, good. Hey, so, you dialed in just at the right time. We're talking retention, and I have an article from Navy Times here pulled up about SWO retention. You know anything about that?
Yeah, I know a lot about that.
Yeah, go ahead and share with us. What do you know?
It's bad.
It's bad. I'd say that's go ahead.
Out of I don't know, out of 8 SWOs I work with that have all been in the Navy less than 7 years, 6 years, every one of them are getting out. 100%.
Seven of them?
Yes, every one of them.
And so when you say less than 7 years, you're talking about
7 years of active duty time, not their time in college.
Right, and that would put them just before their department head tour. Is that the correct math?
Every one of them are refusing department head tours, which for the uninitiated, you're looking at easily $75,000 to $100,000, depending on what community you belong to specifically. and what job and how fast you do it. If you sign super fast, then you're guaranteed a little bit more money. If you wait till the last minute, you get the least amount of money.
I was just talking to a SWO on the ship that I'm on right now, and he was saying it also had the money value also has to do of how quickly you pick up, because so you get like 1 look, 2 look, 3 look, and then so that does that play into it also? Like if you pick up quicker, and by pick up I don't mean promotion, but go ahead.
Yeah, it does pick up. It does play a factor, but right now the retention, essentially boards are almost, I'm not going to say 100%, but there's a lot of people. You have to make yourself unqualified to not get picked up.
Okay.
Because they have so many bodies that are not here. SWO, for those who don't know, there's a term in the officer community called lateral transfer. In the enlisted community, it's called cross rating. It's the same thing. Up until about a couple of years ago, so you could lat transfer out of SWO into, say, human resources,
Yeah,
or try aviation or intel, something like that. Well, that's no longer an option. They don't have enough bodies. They don't have bodies enough anymore to lose, specifically at department head. I don't know the exact numbers, but some data I heard a couple months ago was they were short a couple hundred department heads.
Damn.
Which is why so many ships, then they go into their maintenance availability. The department heads are gapped release because they're trying to keep department heads on units that are either preparing for basic phase or preparing for deployment.
So what? You're a SWO, correct? This is why you know so much.
I am not a SWO, but I help SWOs do SWO things.
Okay.
So I'm very close. I'm closely aligned with him, but I am not a SWO.
Okay. So
but
what?
I speak SWO pretty fluently.
Okay. So what do you think? You talking with your SWO friends, right? And the 7 that you know that you work with. What are the driving factors that you get and hear from the community? And this is kind of SWO specific, but I think a lot of these things translate throughout the force.
This is trend. I would say I have had a lot of experience the last 7-8 years with subsurface officers and also aviators. So a pretty decent background. And also a lot of personal friends. I haven't done a lot of professional work, but a lot of personal friends in the special warfare community. And it's pretty consistent. The op tempo is bone crushing. You would think with 2 wars ending, we would shift over and have a slower op tempo, and we don't. We're still cranking out units out the door just at the same pace we were before, because combatant commanders were used to having that op tempo. So even though we're not at war, people are still going through workups, going through repairs, going through deployments. Deployments may not be as kinetic, but we're still doing them. Combine that with the comprehensive review from the Fitzgerald and McCain incident, and that has increased requirements through the roof. So that means that inspections are a lot higher in frequency. I mean, you're talking about no notice in serve is a thing now, so we get a better shot at Congress. There's probably no single inspection that a CO gets the most stressed out about other than in serve. So, when you're supposed to give a unit 30 days heads up now, no notice, like it's better for Congress. They're going to get a more realistic snapshot, but it's also way more stressful for the crew. So you combine op tempo, combine that on with requirements now, and then the cherry on top is the Achilles heel of the surface Navy, which is our maintenance availabilities. They're on average, I think a couple years ago, the surface Navy had 3,000 days of behind on maintenance as a force. The CNO testified that to Congress about a year or 2 ago, and somehow that's an improvement from the previous year. So you combine all that together, and you get very condensed, dynamic schedules. We have exercise. Even if you're not at war, you're constantly preparing for an exercise or constantly preparing for a big maintenance availability. And you put all that together, and then you want to try to tell people like, oh, go and take care of your body, go take care of your health. Oh, now's a good time to have family. You're going to have shore duty for the next 18 months. You should crank out a kid now like it's just a button you push. And then like, oh, by the way, while you're on that air quote shore, we're gonna request an IA for you for 5 times. You may get it, you may not. And that IA is to go to support a 3 or 4 star staff during an exercise. When you get there, y'all just sit around and, you know, y'all LARP, and then you come home. And it's like, yeah, that's your shore duty. Isn't that great?
So just touching on that, right? Like the just because I got pulled up right now, you know, this is from this article. Again, this is kind of dated. It's 4 months old, but in a bid to keep SWOs, the Navy offers up to $105,000 for SWOs who become department heads, and active duty lieutenant commander SWOs can get up to $46,000 after signing on for another additional 3 years, which pretty much puts them out to like the 15, 16-year mark.
Right.
Excuse
So
me.
if you're a SWO now, they've increased. They've added a few bonuses over the last few years. The newest one is the senior SWO bonus. But for the most part now, as a SWO, you're going to get a bonus from your department head tours. And then your second tour department head, you're probably going to be wearing 04. You'll finish that as an 04. Then they're going to hit you with another bonus, and it's your lieutenant commander bonus. It's like $110,000. And they want you to, that was initially thought, if we give them that at their 11 to 14, 15-year mark, that'll take them up through screening for XO or CO afloat.
Yeah.
Which will lock them in at 05. Well, who's going to get out of the Navy, you know, once they make commander and they're at 15 years? Well, people were still doing it.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
they had to come up.
Yeah, and they're sitting there with $250,000 in the bank. Like, that's nothing to shake a stick at. Sure, it's tax, so even if you knock it down to 200, like that's still big chunks of change. If you bought a house somewhere or you're smart with it, that's either paid off or you're investing it, right? So, you know, there's that TED Talk out there where they talk about something the special force in the special operations community. Where it's like they don't do it for the money, right? Yeah, the money's cool, they get big bonuses and stuff. But are we finding like that there's just the big bonus money isn't cutting it anymore, and it's the lifestyle that opposed from like the SOs and the special operations community where they want to do that, and that I mean that's all they want, right? I've served over there. That's what they sign up for.
What they want.
Yeah, and if they're not doing it,
that's why that community is hurting, arguably more than SWO, because they're still doing the exact same workup cycle as if they were going to Afghanistan, knowing they were going to get 6 months of gunfights. They're doing the exact same requirements. The only difference is they're going on deployments and they're not doing war fighting. I will not disclose really what they're getting into, but they're not worried about running out of bullets on deployment.
Yeah.
So you have that lifestyle of being gone 200, 250 days a year from your family. And then I'm supposed to come home and it's like, why am I doing this? So, you know, other than this, just to get this title and say I was a SEAL or I was X, and then you don't have any value in your job. I think that's a pretty common thing too. People aren't having value in what they're doing. And money only gets you so much. Now, if someone doesn't have the right value, or they feel like they're not putting the time of their life, because I think COVID brought a lot of this to the forefront too, is you never know when the end is going to be, and you really don't know what your time is going to be controlled by. And people aren't having good value. They're not buying into the vision and the strategy. And to be honest with you, you can only pound the "we need to be ready to go to war with China today" thing so many times for people to be like, yeah, that's it. Because you're either going to A, scare people off, like I don't want to be here when that happens, or B, they're going to be like, you've been saying that for 4 years. Like I need something else to motivate me.
Do you think
I think it's a combination of all that, and frankly, cost of living is not keeping up with basic pay, or even for the officers.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they make $500 more a month to have a little bit more of a meetings and stressful job, but his grocery bill is still $400 too.
Yep.
So
yep.
You know, there's no COLA. There needs to be COLA for parts of the United States. DC, San Diego, Everett, Bremerton, like those are not cheap places to live. You can't tell me that it's equitable as in the Army having people at, you know, Killeen, Texas, and Fort Hood. That E6 pay is probably going to go a lot farther than an E6 pay in San Diego.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think? Do you think there's anywhere where, or any the China, you brought up the war with China stuff, right? Like beating that drum. Do you think we're going to see a shift in that? Because you said it could scare them away, right? Which, I mean, like, to me, it scares me away. I don't want to fucking do it, right? I'm at the point where retirement is so close and it's on the horizon where I'd prefer to retire and not get called back for a war, right? Like, I think that should be most people's thought process.
So the new term, so the new term that was coined, that a lot of strategic planners and flag levels are talking, it's referred to as the Davidson window. And that goes back to when Admiral Davidson was PACOM, Indo-PACOM commander. He testified, unclassified, publicly to Congress that he fully expects China to be able to have the capability or motivation to invade by 2027.
Yep. That's the whole, like, 2027 plan or something, right? Like,
Correct.
yeah,
So
it's out
that's
there.
that's what everybody refers to now, the
Yeah.
Davidson window. That's
Okay.
the term.
Okay.
We have to be prepared for the Davidson window, which is why you will also see, coincidentally, a lot of financial incentives and program incentives need to be ready to go by 2027.
Yeah.
So
Also, I retire in
that's
2027, and I hope, God, man, I made a lot of mistakes that got me there, but yeah.
I could do a whole other episode just on why I don't think some of that will happen, and what I think, what I could publicly say from public sources on why I don't think they will do that, and if they do, it's going to go really, really differently. And like I said, fully public sources, nothing that would get either of us in trouble.
Yeah.
Another episode.
I think there's a lot of, call in or let me know, shoot me an email or something. Let me know if you will come through the studio. But I think there's a lot of free internet sources and information out there that can tell us things that might happen in the future or that people are looking at. I mean, when you got Admiral, I don't mean to say his name wrong. It was Pac Fleet. I think he just changed Aquilino.
Agolino is now PACOM. He turned over 3 years ago out of Pac Fleet, so he's about to retire.
Right. No, was it him? Fuck, who? We just had an admiral with us that came out and visited us on deployment on a Sunday on deployment in Sydney, and they had to call all hands back in to be there for the admiral's call. It wasn't the funnest thing, but I will say that he was respectful of our time. He was very much on time, very punctual, and did not take a lot of time and got out of there. But at any rate, like he was on fucking like not CNN, like 60 Minutes or something, talking about this Davidson window.
That was Admiral Paparo.
Okay, yep. That's who visited us.
He's about to fleet up to be the next Indo-PACOM commander.
Right. Okay, so that's who came and visited us.
Yeah, he's a good man. And that he there's some things he's not going to say, but he's just trying to keep the attention focused on what he needs to be paid attention and focused on. That's all.
Yeah.
But another big recurring thing that a lot of people aren't satisfied with is our healthcare system.
Yeah.
When you tell someone like, "Oh, I need to see my PCM," it's like, "Cool, your next appointment's going to be in 60 days." Does that work? No, that does not work. Like, how is that even a policy? Or
how's that? Then, like, what makes you think that works? How's that acceptable of an answer to say I get to see my doctor in 60 days?
And then the response is, well, if it's that urgent, you can go to the ER. Cool. I want to go and sit at the Navy hospital for 14 hours for them to tell me to book an appointment with my PCM.
How much do you think, like, conversations we're having here, and I'm very small time. I don't have a huge listenership or followership or whatever you want to call it, audience, right? But there's other people that do, and they mention these things also, right? And when they mention these things, it's getting to thousands of people in the military and outside the military, right? So what do you think the impact is on people outside the military that hear this, right? Because I know when I joined and I grew up as a poor child that didn't have health care, that didn't have medical, was always worried about it. Like, that was an incentive that got me to join, right? Was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have medical. It's gonna be fucking great. And sometimes it still is, but nowadays,
in particular, of that exact example, you don't have that as often anymore because of the Affordable Care Act.
Ooh, okay.
When the Affordable Care Act came online, and it's state to state, so Affordable Care Act is financially paid for based on the state's budget. The state's budgets are obviously red or blue. Not to get political, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
If you apply for state benefits in, say, California, you have a much higher probability of
Oh
getting
yeah.
approved quickly than if you say you do it in Oklahoma. And that's a big one on that part is the Affordable Care Act.
I never thought about that like that, but I mean, it makes perfect sense. You
And
give
another
health care to
factor, I
everyone.
think, is,
Yeah.
yeah, another factor as well is there's also several states that are now offering free in-state tuition to seniors. Tennessee's a perfect example. It's called the Tennessee Promise. And
Mm.
they put a lot of money in what's called an endowment. So think about having your checking account. At the end of the year, you get the little statement that
Yeah.
says you made $8 on your interest this year. So that interest pays for all the in-state tuition, but it's just multiplied by multiple factors because they put in tens of millions of dollars, and then they live off the interest of that. And then another big factor, and I think the strongest one that's probably not being talked about, is me and you've discussed the recruiting crisis. That's in the news.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's not in the news? The retention crisis.
Yeah.
That's not in the news. And I think another big level is I would say, since I have done a previous recruiting tour in my background, a large portion of people that join the military is because they're being influenced by somebody in their family that's in the military or was in the military.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that's very strong anymore. I would actually venture to say it's probably the opposite. You know, that uncle that was in the Army that pushed you to go in the Army, well, he's probably like, hey, man, I don't know about the Army right now, but I did some research, and you really should go and maybe get a trade.
Yeah. That's me. I'm that uncle. I have a niece that is 16, 17. And for like the last 2 years, all she's talked about in high school, right, is about she wants to join the Navy and be like me. And I and I tell her every time, I say, don't do it. Don't do it. One, I tell her, I say China and that war is on the horizon. And whether it happens or not, I'd prefer her not to be in it, right? Because I believe that if that pops off, if/when that pops off, it is going to be something that people have not seen since the 40s, since World War II, right? Since there was, naval warfare in the Pacific and stuff, right? And I don't think America can handle that or is ready for that, really, right? If a carrier or any ship gets hit, and instead of like the Gulf Wars that we've seen in the last 30 plus years, 40 plus years or whatever, right? Where, and I mean, I think we're both old enough to remember when we invaded Afghanistan and Iraq. And every night they'd show the service members that died that day. And it'd be a handful here and there, right? And that was all very sad, but that's a handful, right? Now, could you imagine on one night where it says, the ticker says it has a list of ships, and it's like 5 ships that were hit and sunk, and missing in action, like dead are reported at this number, missing in action are in the dozens or hundreds, if not thousands. That's something I don't think America understands or is ready for. And as the uncle, as you were saying, that is in the military now, that's something I don't want to read. I don't want to be a part of it, right? As you said before, that I don't mind running from that. I have you call me coward or whatever the fuck you want, right? But I've done my time and I'm happily retiring when that comes. Okay, but I don't want my niece to be a part of it. You know what I mean? If someone would have to do it, I'd rather it be me. I would not want it to be my niece. And so I'm that uncle telling her, no, don't serve. It's not worth it. You still there? Did I lose you? Okay.
I definitely think that's a really big piece of that as well. I gotta run shortly for other obligations, but I will leave you with this. Maybe do some research on. Do you know what a demographic is?
Yeah, I'm not that dumb. I'm a demographic.
Okay. Maybe do some research on the age population of China by demographic, and you will see that they're going to lose a lot of power very soon.
Yeah. Okay.
So look at that. I'll happily try to plan another time to dial in for your people, but the retention crisis, I would say, is worse than the recruiting crisis.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll say thank you, MB Minch 89, for calling in and joining us tonight. and lending your perspective on some of the retention, at least from the SWO side. And get with me again anytime you'd like, and call in or swing by, and we'll have a beer and do it. Thanks for calling in, brother. Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right, everybody. That was MB Mitch 89 on the from his YouTube handle there. Calling in, let us know what he's experiencing during his there's a fly service. I just hit the Google right here. We're just gonna take a quick look at this, what he last mentioned. Okay. Let me make this fit. According to the age distribution of China's population in 2023, approximately 68% of the population were in their working age between 15 and 64. Retirees age 65 years above made up about 15%. It's just, I don't know what else demographic he wants us to look at, but here, the first one, does China have an aging or youthful population? China has one of the fastest growing aging populations in the world. The population of people over 60 years old is projected to reach 28%. Oh, well, I guess over 60 doesn't seem like that much. 30% is like 30% is a large percentage. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, over 60 though, that's like, I don't know, fighting age is 18 to 40, 45 or something, right? I don't know. By 2030, what will it be? The elderly will be 9% of total population in 2011, 2010, 15, 2020, and 22% in. Yeah. I had to keep looking at it. Why? Oh, here's one. Why is China aging so fast? So it says that one says they're aging fast. Are they aging faster than the U.S.? I mean, they might be, but I mean, again, like, get into a numbers game of it, right? It's like, sure, maybe 30% of them are super fucking old. Did I lose a camera here? Camera 2? Camera 2? Camera 2 is dead, I think. I'm sorry. Go to camera 1. Here we go. There's a lot of them, though. There is a lot of the Chinese over there in that country. And if maybe one day everything goes to shit and everything pops off, then still got to deal with them, right? They got a lot of ships. They're maritime militia. There's a lot of, they can just be like, we're taking your fishing vessel and we're going to put fucking bad guys, from our point of view, bad guys on it to shoot rockets at us, good guys. And I don't want that. Like I was just saying, I don't want that for my niece at all. So, yeah, Pootie, if you're listening, don't do it. I just, as we talk about, like, so again, the retention, I kind of clicked off that SWO thing because we already talked about it, but the retention is very bad, right? There's a lot of people that we just don't want to stick around. There's a lot of senior people, and by senior, I'm saying like your E6 and senior, that they 15 years looking just to make it to 20 and be done with it, because we're losing sight, or the military and the DOD is not giving us the value in it anymore, right? Mitch 89 mentioned it, like, we're not getting paid enough, right? How many times have I said that in the last 4 or 5 episodes, right? We're not getting paid enough to keep doing this, okay? And the medical, right? I joined because medical would be awesome to have for me and my family, and it is awesome that I could take my children who are not the active duty ones, right? They're just in TRICARE, and TRICARE is not the best at all. But they have a good doctor that's in the system that is, I can fucking throw a rock and hit the fucking doctor's office, okay? And anytime we need to take them, we take them, and it's fucking handled. Anytime there's been an emergency where we got to take them up to the ER, we don't even, and this is just because, I guess, of location, we don't go to the fucking Balboa ER for our kids. You know where we go? To Rady's Children's Hospital, right? I drive right the fuck past, away, opposite direction of fucking Balboa. I skip it altogether, okay? And look, Balboa, you guys are great. Most of the time, sometimes. Nikki in the ICU, she handles her business. I know that. There's some corpsmen doing great things. But for my children, I'm taking them to Rady's Children's Hospital. It says children in the name, people. They're probably pretty fucking good at what they do with the kids, okay? And every time we've taken them there, they've been great, right? And I prefer to go there, and Nikki prefers to go there, and we'll take them there every time. And you know what? Every time, TRICARE pays for it. That's the medical that I signed up for. I did not sign up for the medical for myself. It was one of those like, yeah, cool, I'll have it. So if something does happen to me, at least I'll be taken care of. But the bigger thing for me was like whenever I did have a family, my wife and my children would have medical. And I know that that's something I did not grow up with, and it's something that I wanted for my family. That's my long projection of choice making at 18 years old was. Okay, and it's all coming to life now, right, with a 6 and 5-year-old. Right now, young adults, 18-year-olds join, they're not thinking like that. They're thinking about, what about me? Okay, that they're at the sole forefront. They're not making life decisions for other people that they don't have in their life yet. They're making decisions for them. And that's cool. Do you, whatever. I'm not saying judgment. I'm just saying that's how it is. And I think there's people out there seeing and hearing about our difficulties in the medical sphere. And they're saying no to it because they got Affordable Care Act and other free health care in other ways. So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. A little hour-long show tonight. Again, thanks for tuning in. Right, it was a great show. Thanks, Mitch, for MB Mitch 89 for dialing in and joining us on the show tonight. You know, the hotline, whenever we do go live, the hotline number is there. You call in and say what you want to say, and we'll talk about it. You talk about the topic, or bring your own topic to the conversation. Right, that's why we got the hotline. Anyways, let's wrap it up for the night. Don't forget. These thoughts and you know, all the shit I be saying is mine and mine alone, okay? And I'm not endorsed by anybody, all right? And I'm just out here having a good time. I just want to keep it real with y'all. Don't forget right now, all right? If you're here and you dialed in, or not dialed in, but you watching, you tuned in tonight at some point, go ahead and hit the like button for me. Give me the finger, all right? Turn on the bells for notifications so next time we go live, you can come join us and hit the hotline with us. Share it with a friend. Post it over your social media. We're doing big things. We are going to Texas in like 40 days. Okay, sometime in June. I'm hitting the road. Me, my Chevy Colorado, max payload, max towing rating with my 2024 Rockwood Mini Light 2109 Sierra travel trailer. And this is going to be my home for the next 3 years. Wish me luck. Wish me safe driving because it's a she caught a little rig on her for my little truckie. So it's going to be a good time, y'all. And we'll catch you on the next one. Until then, be safe out there. Have a good weekend, and we out.